Well, hello again, and you're very welcome to another Draw with Don. And today's subject is the grey seal. I'm sure some of you have seen a grey seal. These are remarkable creatures, live around the coast of Ireland and Britain, and they're amazing creatures. So we have two types of seals. We have the grey seal and the common seal. But today we're going to draw the grey seal. Pencils and paper ready? Or if you just want to sit, that's fine with me as well. So here's a grey seal, and here's a little pup sitting up there. And the pup has this lovely kind of milky white fur. When they're born, that lasts for a few weeks. And then there's a very protective mother here, and another seal sitting up the back. So we go up here and we start by drawing a curve like this. Right down like that. And they say that the grey seal has sort of a Roman nose. I don't have one, but they have a Roman nose, and they have a kind of a slightly haughty look, like this, you know. Whereas the common seal has more dog-shaped face. So we go off here like that, then down like this into a curve, and we bring it right down like this. And we put the snout and the nostrils here. And by the way, on the grey seal, they have these two kind of vertical lines that come down like this, whereas in the common seal, it's much more like a V shape. Not that you'll ever get that close, I don't think. Anyway, up here we draw the eye, nice big black liquid eye. Yes. And then we go back down here and we draw the lower part of the jaw like this. So now we have the head of that, hopefully we're pleased with. And now with the body, we go off like this into a big curve, bring it right down like this. And then we go back over here, we bring this part right down like this. And then we'll show the flippers. We'll indicate them like this. Nice big curve like that. Back up like this. And go up in a sort of a narrow way there. And we just indicate a few little curves there where you would see a fold. Now down here, we bring it back around like this. Up, and then we come to the bottom part, the feet. And you get the flippers here as well. Now, unlike something like a sea lion, their flippers would be turned out this way, almost back towards them. But with the grey seal, they're heading off like that. So here's a little indication of a tail, and there's the other flipper. So that's that shape. And then we'll go up here and we draw this, the seal in the distance. So we start off with a curve like that once again. We go off into a kind of a straight line, back around here into a bit of a curve. So that's the head. And then we big curve down like this for the body. And then off we go again. Another big curve up at the top here. And then we indicate the flippers, and they're sticking up this time. And they like to just loll around when they're not doing anything on big rocks. And of course the rocks are very slippy. And do you know what happens? No, they don't slip off too much, because they actually have claws on their flippers that helps them get up over that slippy rocks that you might slip on. Anyway, here we just show the one in the distance there, and it's just kind of wrestling like this. And then we'll indicate a rock like that, and then we'll indicate another big rock, big boulder here like that. Now we go back up here, and I'll just show you, here's the little sharp claws. And I used to have like great fun, because I used to go down to the Irish Seal Sanctuary, meet a man called Brendan Price, who was a founder member there, and Johnny Woodlock, and we'd see the seals and feed them, and I got a chance to draw them and all. It was great fun. And I ended up writing a book About the seal, I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, we continue on like this. And now there's the young sitting up on the rock here. And after about several weeks, they lose this milky white plumage, fur, and they will go much kind of darker or grayer in colour. So that's a big curve for the head of the mum, and then a big kind of more or less sort of round shape for the eye. And then we bring this line out like this, down into a curve like that, then we go off like that. And then we have the lower part of the jaw like that. And again, these kind of parallel lines like that. So you can imagine one on this side and one over there. You can't really see the other one too well, but you get the idea. It's the way the head is tilted. So, and then very quickly we'll just indicate maybe some, this is called bladder rack or channel rack. There's different types of brown seaweed, and it just adds an extra little dimension to the pictures when you're drawing things like that. And we might put in a little what's called a limpet, and they like to cling onto the rocks, and maybe another one here like this. So you can just have a bit of fun when you're drawing, just think up things. Doing a few more little indications here. You don't have to have too much detail, because you're just working up an idea. I'll just put the eye back up here, haven't I? Forgot to put a little eye a little in the distance, not that you'd see much of it. Now we're going to suggest a wave here, so we go up and down, up and down, up and down, and maybe another one like that. So we all know mums are great, but when we're talking about the seal, the grey seal, she's such a dedicated mum. They all are, all mums are. But this one actually is so busy feeding her young that she won't actually feed herself until she's sure that that's up and healthy and ready to move around. And then she'll go off and start looking for food. The grey seal is mainly grey in colour or brown, but in the water they can look very black. So I'm just darkening up the mother like this. And they have very big spots. The male, of course, is bigger than the female. He's called the bull, and she's called the cow, and the young is called the pup. Now I'm just going to throw a little bit of blue up here like that. I'm just using these crayons very quickly to get the idea. And I'll put a little bit of brown here, and this is to indicate the brown seaweed. So I want to put a little bit of colour on this young seal here, and because I said it's very milky white, so it's not pure white, so you get this kind of lovely kind of little ochre colour almost creeping through, yellowy ochre colour. And as I've said many a time, you can take your time doing these. I'm just doing this nice and quick, just to give you an idea, and then you can relax over these things. Now I'm going to go for a bigger brush. Take up my water and go across here, and you see, because I'm using watercolor crayons, you get a nice effect. And by doing this, by putting a dark colour against a light colour, it makes it stand out like that. And I say most of this will be done on the flat. So when you see me doing these occasional little spills, you'll understand why. Now, here's the mummy. And so you could make somebody, I say, a nice card using your imagination, draw whatever you like, but since we're drawing seals, it's rather nice to have a go doing these little creatures. And again, I'm just dabbing here just to indicate. So things in the distance are never very detailed, but things up close, you know, obviously are. So very quickly here, I'm just going to suggest these grey boulders, these grey rocks. I'm running around it like that. And one more tiny little thing we'll do is add a little bit of green down here. So we have the green, and we're just going to put a little bit of indication of the waves. Sometimes the waves look very green, sometimes they look very blue, sometimes they look very grey. As you can see, it all depends on the weather, the skies, the reflections, all these things. Little tiny bit of more brown here. So let's give you a quick idea how to draw a grey seal, mummy and little pup. And I'll finish off just by putting back up the original one I did. And I hope you enjoy that, and I look forward to your company the next time. So I'll leave this up here and stay creative. Right, a lot of people have been asking me about where they can see my paintings, drawings, etc. Well, I do have a website. It's www.donconroy.com. And I told you before that I did a book called Saoirse the Grey Seal, about a seal, and one, The Mermaid Song, and When the Sea Calls. This is a sea trilogy I did. So they are available on the website. If anyone would like to purchase a copy, I will sign them and send them to you. Thank you.